Welcome to day 433 of our DSO journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein here with my twin brother Brian. I'm back. You know, MP3 tried to replace me,
He did a better
but
job. I think he was better,
yeah, but he doesn't have the whole twin thing going on, so he
but he
loses
had the
points for
moon
that.
shirt, and you never wear a moon shirt.
Yeah, but it's like you can't say, "Oh, look, they're twins," right?
I think that's overrated.
Maybe you might be right. Anyhow, remember these videos are being sponsored by NFT Tech. They are an investor in DSoFi.
Yeah, so NFT Tech, they actually went public on the Neo Exchange last week. Mario Nawfal is a co-founder, but they have about a market cap of $45 million. So it's nice to have a big company like that invested into a DeSo node, a DeSo project. And I think they're going to be doing some pretty big things, NFT tech, and hopefully they get more involved in DeSo as things move along as well with Mario involved.
Yeah, definitely. I love what Mario is doing. He's just such a brilliant person. He's so involved in the Web3 space, and you know he's gonna be at the forefront for years to come. But let's move on. Yesterday was the big day for DAO DAO. DAO DAO had its public launch. People could fund DAO DAO from the public. People could access the DAO DAO order book. People could access all the DAOs listed on DAO DAO for the first time yesterday, unless you were part of that private beta, which required a password. So it was an interesting dynamic. I know everybody was interested to see how things would go, if it would be funded, how quickly it would be funded, and what the price would do, especially since we had the funding round based on a bonding curve, while the DAO coins were already trading on the order book exchange. So it took about 10, somewhere between 10 and 18 minutes to get completely funded. I don't know the exact amount of time. I know DAO said 10 minutes. I think I saw about 18 minutes. Things changed because the price of DSO fluctuated. So it was funded and then it wasn't for a while because DSO fell. And the funding round was based on a $100,000 amount. And if DSO falls, the value of DSO pulls that dollar value down. So it was a little
Yeah,
weird.
it was definitely an interesting watch. Like just seeing the dynamics. It was always like at the end it was a lot cheaper on the order book, but it's still sold out. The round still sold out, so people weren't even bothering even paying attention to the order book. It didn't seem.
Yeah, the order book didn't really get affected as much as I thought it would. I thought, the driving up of the price on the in the funding round would somehow affect the order book, but it didn't really change. The order book was pretty much stagnant the entire time the funding round took place, which surprised me. I think maybe it was just too much for people to watch at once and
Yeah, it
new
was
people coming. Go
too
ahead.
condensed. The time frame was too condensed. Like it happened so fast that I don't think there was enough time for people to actually react.
People couldn't even think of how the arbitrage opportunities would work to make
Yeah,
anything
but
that
I mean,
effective.
they're really like it was hard to say it was an arbitrage opportunity in that one direction. If the price in the order book was greater than the price
Yeah.
in the round, then I could see that. But you don't just because you can buy it on in the round higher, you can't sell it in the round higher.
Exactly.
So it didn't really there was no arbitrage opportunity.
So, but the price has fallen since the round closed, and I think the funding round was what up to 37 cents per Dow coin at one point, and the price of a Dow coin, a Dow coin, right now is sitting at about 8 cents or so,
Yeah.
and it's been up and down, mostly down since the funding round closed out. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, if you got in the probably what 2 month, 3 month span where you could buy NFTs to get in on DAO, you're up 800% right now. So got to be happy about that. If you got in on the second round, which only a handful of people actually did, there are some pretty large purchases, then I would be a little bit upset, but probably dollar cost averaging down and buying some at these levels. Uh, it- so right now the market cap is around $8.8 million. That's pennies if this was actually a company that was seeking venture capital and it's like a seed round or a series A. But we don't know where things are headed. There's a lot of uncertainty. A lot depends on the DSO blockchain as well. So I can understand some trepidation in buying into DAO, but at the same time, it's definitely an asymmetric gamble or asymmetric bet, investing bet, because the potential for it to rise to say $8 a coin, which would be an $880 million market cap, is is much more much more skewed towards positivity than just losing your 8 cents a coin. So you got to look at it in the right perspective. If you have extra money, then maybe it makes sense to jump in and risk it. If you don't, then it's risky.
And none of this is investment advice. Just remember that nothing you ever hear on these shows is. Um, so, looking at the cap table of DAO's DAO coin, there's currently 1,494 holders or hodlers of the coin. The top hodler would be Natter with 12.51 million coins, followed by Nick Cage with 5.93 million. I think Nick Cage actually bought a ton yesterday, and there's a lot of people believe Nick Cage is Natter. I'm pretty certain it is. So Natter saw the price drop, and he kind of aped in, and got loaded up on some more. And then it's followed by Vandalay, then Mike Garcia, who I have no idea who they are. Potentially, could they be core team members under other names? Yes, it's possible. Then Who Am I with 3.76 million coins. Who Am I is Natter. Followed by Brunks with 3.54. Emulsified, core team member with 2.81. Hello with 2.3 million. King Clout with 2.3 million. Vishal Guya with 2.13 million. So there's a lot of hodlers who have over a million DAO coins. Brian and I currently have 316,000. We're happy with what we own. Maybe we'll buy more if the price keeps falling.
Yeah, and there's been conversation about, oh, Natter owns so much, especially if these other accounts are his. But I don't know if that's a bad thing. The fact that he was buying, well, Nick Cage was buying all the way up to like 16 or 17 cents last night. If that is Natter, it gives me a lot of confidence because obviously he's in the know. He knows what their marketing plans are. He knows maybe who they've reached out to, who they had communications with. So that would be a positive in my mind. Who cares if he owns a high percentage of the DAO and he has high voting rights? I think he has a right to do that as somebody that is actually leading the charge and created this whole thing. And I know Ed Moss, Mossified, said that a lot of those accounts that bought gold tickets towards the end, he said they are not associated with Natter. And people shouldn't be thinking that because he knows for a fact that they weren't.
Yeah, I heard
And
that
I'm
as
not
well.
talking Nick Cage or Who Am I. Those are probably ones that are associated with it.
But
But some of the
Vandalay,
other
Mike
ones that were there.
Garcia, Bronx. I know Bronx isn't a core team member, and we know Vishal Guya isn't a core team member. So I mean, there's a lot of hodlers, people who have a lot of coins, and it's interesting. It's also interesting that DAO sent out an email to 123,000 people yesterday. Those were people who had signed up to be notified of the release. So that had an impact in bringing a couple hundred people into DAO, I'm sure. It's nice to see new hodlers. And, that number's just going to keep going up and up and up as some of the people who own DAO coins sell and other people come in and buy them. So it's going to be fun to follow, see how
Yeah,
many.
and there's also a press release. I saw it on Yahoo. So they definitely had a marketing campaign in place for this launch, but I think we're going to see a lot more, and things might be a slow trickle, but I think eventually you're going to hit a couple big DAOs that come on board, and I'll get to that in a little bit here.
Yeah, so there might be another DAO vote coming up for the DAO.
Yeah, so Abraham Lincoln on Discord, on the DAO Discord, said that the next DAO vote will be in regards to trader fees that go back to the holders of the DAO coin. So I don't know what the question will be. Maybe it'll be like, what percent do you think should be the trading fees? Or maybe do you want to just receive this as a dividend? What percent should it go back into the DAO to be reinvested? We don't know, but it's going to be related to trader fees. I'm excited to vote on something like that. I'm ready for some decision making.
What do you think? Would you like to see go directly to the coin holders or go into the treasury?
I think the treasury, at least for now, but like I'm a more of like a forward thinking long term person. I don't care if we get DSO as a dividend right now. I think that the priority should be building DAO up and its long term vision and pushing it forward over the next several months, 2 years.
Yeah, so DAODAO also got an activity feed and trade history yesterday, which was a surprise. I don't think anybody was expecting that. It dropped directly before the public launch. So you can now go to DAODAO.io/activity, or just click the link above or below, and you will be able to see a complete list of all the activity on DAODAO. You can filter it by various categories. You can filter it to only show trades. You can filter only show limit orders put in. It's numerous filtering options. It's very useful. You can now kind of see everything you want to see.
Yeah, I was addicted to it yesterday, like right during the launch, just watching like all the actions people are making. And it's really informative. It's really a very valuable stream, I would say, because you can see like who's buying what, which coins are launching, which projects are launching, and you can kind of get a heads up if you're watching it at a time, because if you see like maybe Natter apes into some new project and nobody else even heard of it yet, you can jump into it as well before the masses. So it's
Yeah,
a great stream.
I saw a few new DAOs that I'm going to get to in a little bit that started popping up on the activity feed, and I went and I bought a little bit of the DAO coins because I'm like, wow, there's a new one. It seems to be getting a lot of activity. Let me check it out.
Yeah,
But
it's funny because MP3 was on the show yesterday, and I knew that Name Trade was launching their DAO. I thought it was going to happen at 3 p.m., but it looked like it opened around 2 p.m. or so, and I noticed it on the activity feed. So I got to buy in a little bit, and I saw a lot of others did too.
yeah, and it's Aditya added on ChainSurf, the ChainSurf Discord. DAO trades in real time, so you can. If you're not familiar with the ChainSurf Discord, you go there. You can kind of see like all the DSO transactions happening in real time. Different categories. You can see founder reward being lower. You can see coin buys. You can see NFT sales, NFT bids. But now you can see DAO trades, which is very useful as well. It all loads in real time. So I think that might even be one step ahead of the activity feed as far as tracking DAO trades.
Yeah, I was waiting for this because I kept having to reload the page, and I'd come back to my desktop after being away for an hour and then having to reload it. Not that it was a pain reloading it, but it's just nice to be able to open it up and see the trades as they're happening. And it's Aditya doing great work, and we're going to get to him again here in a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you want to talk a little bit about some posts that Natter made yesterday.
Yeah, Natter made two posts, and I'll start with the one he made last night and then get to the one he made sometime yesterday afternoon. But the post he made last night, it was kind of in regards to making DAO a success, uh, and and what it means and how we can all kind of help things grow. But he said that most DAOs grow the investor base and the number of quality DAOs. They have plans. They have plans for this. They said that they're throwing their whole team behind the effort. Uh, and he said that he wouldn't be surprised if it takes a few months before they see some really big breakout DAOs. And I think that like off the bat, as DAO launch, some people are probably expecting like fireworks and like all these crazy DAOs launching. It's not going to work that way. And especially from the core team, because the core team, it's only a handful of people, maybe two handfuls of people, and they're busy on DAO and some other things. We know they're going to probably have a Pokey DAO. We know there's several other DAOs that they have planned, but it's going to take some time. And I don't think that any one DAO is going to just break out and kind of surprise us all within the next few days. Maybe within the next few weeks or few months, we'll see something like that. But it's a slow process, a slow kind of leading up to success. And it's we don't need a fast process like a social media network might need, like BitClout might have needed when it launched. Just a slow process, and then a few breakout DAOs could be what drives things.
Yeah, like if one large Discord community decides, oh, let's set up a DAO, and this Discord has, 10,000 people who are members of it, We could see a huge DAO take off in a matter of weeks.
Yeah.
Or if somebody famous, like, anybody who has a huge social following decides to start a DAO around a subject that their followers are really interested or care about, we could see something like that take off really quickly as well. So it only takes one to really like create this huge influx of new users onto DAO, and also bringing those people onto DSO.
Yeah, and the referral program, if these larger DAOs that launch have referral programs, I think that could help with the virality of it all. And we'll see. We haven't seen any major DAOs launch yet, except the ones that are kind of DSO centric, the ones around projects being built on DSO. So once you see outsiders start coming in and being lured here by people outside of DSO, I think that's when things get exciting. Uh, but Nader, he also made a post, kind of giving advice to people creating DAOs. And I think there's been close to 1,000 DAOs created now, 800 to 1,000. I forget the total number for sure. But a lot of these DAOs aren't very well thought out. There's probably I don't know, a couple dozen that are rather thought out. Some of them we've discussed already, but there's a lot of, like, I don't want to say junk DAOs, but they're pretty measly and not really well thought out. And Nader just made it a point that he says that it takes a lot of hard work for a DAO to succeed. Like, you can't just create a DAO and maybe even have a few thousand followers on DSO and expect all this money to come in, because that's not going to happen. Uh, People need a clear roadmap. He said buyers need to know what they're getting. Like if I put $1,000 in this DAO, what am I getting out of it? I'm going to get voting rights. How's that going to work? Am I going to get some sort of equity or some sort of dividend? How will that work? Is this guaranteed? What kind of other benefits could I get? So that's important. You need to set forth a roadmap and explain this. Don't be vague, because if you're vague, people are going to be like, why am I going to put $1,000 in this if I don't know for sure what I'm going to get out of it? So that's super important. And I've noticed that as well. I've noticed a lot of DAOs, not really any clear roadmap of what they're going to do. He also said a strong team, whether it's non-anonymous or pseudonymous, is super important. Track record is everything. So if you're creating a DAO, and maybe you don't have too much popularity on DSO, maybe you're not very well known just on the internet in general, which is most people, maybe you want to team up with somebody that is known on DSO, that has a background in certain different niches, and then that can kind of add to your track record and to your team. Create and find a strong team that can help you launch this DAO, because that's important. You need that track record. You need the trust. You need people to know that they know what they're going to get. And finally, marketing efforts. Don't expect DAO or DSO or anybody to advertise your DAO for you. In some cases, they may. I know we've seen that with several of the DSO centric DAOs, but ultimately they're not going to be advertising for you. You need to have a marketing plan. You're not going to get anybody buying into your DAO unless there's actually a marketing effort, whether you're posting blogs or you're posting your other social media accounts, creating press releases, just creating buzz around what you're doing. That's what you got to do. You got to put the work in if you want to attract coin holders or DAO coin holders.
Yeah,
And
YouTube
I think
videos. Like,
all three of those points are super important.
I mean, you could create a YouTube video. Maybe you have a lot of subscribers on YouTube. Create a YouTube video about your DAO. Could you imagine if somebody like Mr. Beast, with, I think he has like 96 million YouTube subscribers, were to start a DAO, how much he could potentially raise? Not that he really needs to raise any money, but somebody like that creating a DAO would be huge for DAO.
And you don't need to do it for money. Like, he doesn't need to do it for money. He can do it to raise money in order for the DAO coin holders to have that say and have that feeling of belonging to a project. But like, you could be ultra wealthy and still want to create a DAO just so you can get the community involved in something and have the community linked to it via like a monetary framework.
Yeah, and for the community governance factors. So there are a few new DAOs that did kind of pop up out of nowhere, or pop up, in the last few days, that I just wanted to give a mention to. Gateway DAO, which I didn't know about until yesterday when I think I saw Alex Velatis buy into it. and it's actually a DAO created by It's Aditya and Weeblet. It's looking to build a gateway between Web 2 and Web 3, and we're already seeing this with their Quartify and what's the other one? Quartify and Minted Tweets apps. So they're looking to raise 25,000, and so far it's up to about 16,000 or so. So great job so far. It's Aditya and Weeblet. I think Gateway DAO has a lot of potential, and we did put a little bit of money into it. We're not really putting too much into any of these DAOs yet. We kind of want to see how things unfold, but it looks like Gateway DAO, you might want to check it out. Also Meme DAO, which is by two DSO OGs, Simp and Hunt Sauce. They're creating memes through this DAO. They have a nice, interesting little story that backs up their DAO and what they intend to do in stage one. They're looking to raise $20,000. So far, they're up to 4,740 or so. Simp and Hunt Sauce, both great guys who, we've had a chance to speak with dozens of times, and we actually got to meet Simp in LA. He was kind of not incognito, but kind of wanting to protect his identity. He was a great guy, though. Name Trade is another one. Of course, Brian had MP3 on the show yesterday, and they launched with quite a bang. So far, they've raised $1,560 or so, and their idea is a good one. They already have a business model set up, and that DAO is going to be part of that business.
Yeah, all these DAOs you mentioned, I think are awesome. I love what Hunt Sauce has been a OG since the beginning, posting memes, and Simp is great. We got to meet him. It's Aditya and Weeblet. They've been doing great things since the beginning. Like I'd say some of their projects are some of the most forward-looking pro DSO projects out there. So I like, even if you don't want to profit off of it, just backing them because they're going to help DSO is definitely something that people could consider. And I do think that they have a really good laid out strategy, how we can all benefit. So definitely check out the Gateway DAO. But yeah, if I know there's plenty of other DAOs that launch that do actually have good frameworks. I'm sorry if we're not mentioning you. There's just so much to kind of go through.
I'm sure we'll cover some of the other ones in other shows. So
Right.
we didn't mention you today. No biggie. D Social World has yet another collaboration. It seems like every other day they have another collaboration with another node on DSO. This time it's with Altum Base, two of my favorite nodes, by the way. So now if you go to anybody's D Social World profile, you'll see a link under their profile, kind of like you do to Open Prosper and NFTZ, directing to that individual's Altum Base profile, which you can see all kinds of stats and charts related to that user. And then on Altum Base, when you're viewing a user next to their name, you're going to see a little logo, a D Social World logo. And if you click on that, it's going to take you to their D Social World profile. Great collaboration. I think it's something that's really awesome. It kind of keeps the DSO community interlocked.
Yeah, I love what Ado is doing with D Social World because he's sort of making it like a hub, and you can go to a profile on D Social World and get to all these other nodes that are doing other things, whether it's NFTZ, Open Prosper, Altum Base, you name it. You can get to those users' profiles over there as well. So it's great to see these collaborations because I think it makes the ecosystem a lot stronger.
Yeah, it's for sure. And what were the top hashtags for the last 24 hours, Brian?
Number one was Web3, followed by DSO, DAO, NFT, and crypto. So DAO is right in the middle. I'm surprised it's not number
Is
one.
Web3 a new one? I haven't seen that for a while.
I'm not sure. I think it might be as number one. Of course, Web3 is Web3. I mean, if you're on DSO, you obviously know what Web3 is.
Yeah, so Brian, in our notes I put the names on their own topic, but what are the top diamonded creators from the last 24 hours according to Altum Base?
Yeah, and first I want to say thanks to Open Prosper for the hashtags. I know I forget that sometimes. Salil is doing a great job with that. But yeah, the top diamonded creators over the last 24 hours, thanks to Altum Base, are Natter, DAODAO, Krasenstein. That's us, of course. D Social World, Sean Slater, Fatheads, Happy Rabbit, Now and Then, Regina Marie, and our good friend MP3, who got to fill in for Ed yesterday.
Yeah, stop mentioning him. He might take my job. Anyhow, Open Prosper, welcome back. welcome back to Moonbounce. So Moonbounce is an OG account for an app that appeared to be being built on DSO, but they haven't posted for like over 100 days before now. The app says that they are coming soon on their website. It says that they're a multiplayer internet. But on their DSO profile, it says they are a product to reward your biggest supporters with exclusive content benefits and experiences. So they came back. They liked the post by DAODAO, or they followed DAODAO. I don't know. I don't know if they still have this plan to launch their app on the DSO blockchain or not. Maybe they're thinking about doing it as a DAO, perhaps. Uh, Maybe they can reply to this post and give us an update. Anyhow, the top community events today, the only community events today, are at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Entra. It's a new user welcome and walkthrough. So it's just a short little room. If you're a new user to Entra, you can check that out and learn all about Entra. If you're a new user to DSO, you can do it as well, because Entra is actually a LinkedIn-like platform built on top of the DSO blockchain. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, a half an hour later, also on Entra, is the Entra Community Hangout with Michael Marr, the CEO of Entra, and Sean Tron. And I think that's all the news we have for today. And
Yeah, and I just want to add, tomorrow we might be a little bit late with our video. My son and my daughter and Ed's son all have graduation at their pre-K. So it might be about an hour delayed our video. So don't think that we ran off and stopped at day 433 if you don't see us.
yeah, so everybody have a great day, and we will talk to you tomorrow.